These three Jefferson Nickels, 1964, 1967, and 1981, are the holy grail for collectors. Some of these coins have sold for thousands, and here's how you spot them. Imagine this. You're standing in line at a grocery store, impatiently waiting to pay for a few items. You reach into your pocket, pulling out a handful of change to cover the total, and you see it, a dull, silver coin, barely worth a second thought. It's a 1981 D. Jefferson nickel, a coin with the face of Thomas Jefferson on one side and his home, Monticello, on the other. In that fleeting moment, you face a choice. You are the spender, seeing it as a simple tool for a transaction, a piece of copper-nickel alloy worth exactly 5 cents. You drop it into the cashier's hand, and it disappears into the register, never to be seen again. Or you're the collector. A faint glint of something different catches your eye. You hesitate. You take a closer look. You decide to keep it. This single decision, this hesitation, could be the difference between spending 5 cents and discovering a fortune worth up to a staggering $921,000. Yes, you heard that right. That seemingly insignificant piece of pocket change could be a ticket to a life of financial freedom. Today, we are diving deep into the world of one of the most elusive and potentially valuable coins in modern American numismatics, the 1981 D. Jefferson nickel. Now, before you write this off as just another clickbait video, let me ask you a question. Stop. Right now. Where's your loose change? Is there a jar on your dresser, a pile of coins in your car's cup holder, or a forgotten stash in an old coat pocket? How many times have you walked past that jar without a second thought, dismissing its contents as nothing more than spare change? It is time to reset your perspective, because within that pile of neglected metal could be a sleeping giant. We are talking about a coin that auction houses dream of, a ghost in the market that sends shivers down the spines of serious collectors. The standard 1981 D. Jefferson nickel is a common coin. The Denver Mint produced over 364 million of them that year. You can barely buy a piece of gum with one. But the numismatic world is not built on the ordinary. It thrives on the error, the anomaly, the perfect imperfection that turns the mundane into the magnificent. This is where the story of our $921,000 coin truly begins. The value does not come from the date or the mint mark alone, but from a specific confluence of catastrophic errors that occurred during its striking. The most notable errors on a 1981 D nickel fall into two categories: the struck on a cent planchet and the double die reverse. Let's start with the struck on a cent planchet error, which is arguably the most dramatic and historically documented. To the untrained eye, it just looks like a smaller, slightly off-looking nickel. But the difference is profound. A nickel is supposed to weigh 5 grams. It's supposed to be struck on a blank specifically made for that denomination. However, imagine a scenario where a blank mint for a penny somehow found its way into the nickel press at the Denver Mint. The result is a coin that is lighter, weighing in at the cent standard of roughly 3.1 grams, and it is struck on a smaller diameter planchet. The edges would be off, and the design would not fully reach the rim. This is a catastrophic error, a mistake of epic proportions, and it is a primary driver of value. This is not a matter of a few dollars or even a few thousand. We're talking about 5-figure sums. The Newman Numismatic Portal at Washington University catalogs sales of these error coins. In recent years, examples graded by major services like NGC and PCGS have consistently sold for over $200 at auction. But these were for lower grades and damaged planchets. As you can imagine, the price escalates exponentially with the condition. A high-grade example in pristine, uncirculated condition could easily command tens of thousands of dollars. However, to reach the apex of nearly $1 million, we must combine this wrong planchet error with another, even rarer, phenomenon. This brings us to the double die reverse error. This is not a strike through or a simple machine doubling. It is a result of a hubbing error during the creation of the die itself. In the 1980s, the Mint began using a single squeeze hubbing process, which made true double dies rarer than before. However, they do exist. For the 1981 D, There are documented examples of Class 2+6 double die varieties on the reverse, with a lettering of E pluribus unum, United States of America, and even 5 cents shows a distinct spread or doubling. This doubling is not a shadow. It is a clear, defined duplication of the design. When you combine this already rare die variety with the struck on a cent planchet error, you have a coin that is virtually one of a kind. It is the marriage of these two errors that creates a perfect storm of value. You're not just holding an error coin. You're holding a specimen of a die variety that was struck on the wrong metal. It is a historical anomaly, a mistake that should never have left the mint. The ghost in the market is the hunt for the highest quality example of this specific combination. While a high-grade 1981 DMS 67 FS, meaning full steps on the Monticello, holds significant value, selling for thousands, the true treasure is the wrong planchet, doubled die variety. Now, you might be wondering, where does the $921,000 figure come from? This is the potential market value for a coin that is a perfect specimen. A coin that is not only struck on a cent planchet, but is also a top-tier double die variety in gem uncirculated condition. Think about it. The finest known 1981D Jefferson Nickel, without any errors, has sold for $149 at auction. A nickel struck on a cent planchet sold for $374. But the one that breaks all records? That's the one that combines the dramatic, instantly visible error of being struck on the wrong planchet with the numismatic significance of a double die reverse. This coin would be the centerpiece of any world-class collection. The demand from high-net-worth collectors would be astronomical. This is where the excitement and urgency come in. The market for high-end mint errors is heating up. People are becoming more aware that there is hidden wealth in their pocket change. Coins that were dismissed as damaged or off are now being recognized as major rarities. The numismatic market is fluid, and a coin of this rarity doesn't just become available every day. If you were to find a coin like this in a collection, you would not be holding a mere collectible. You would be holding a down payment on a house, a college fund for a child, a significant step toward achieving the wealthy lifestyle you've dreamed of. Let's pause for a moment of humor. If you're like most people, you've probably spent more money on a cup of coffee this week than you thought the coins in your pocket were worth. You've probably even thrown loose change in a drawer, vowing to roll it up one day. Well, that one day has arrived. The fear of losing money, of throwing away a fortune, is a powerful motivator. And it should be. Every single day, valuable coins are accidentally spent at vending machines, laundromats, and fast food joints because the owners simply didn't know what they had. Don't let that be you. The time to act is now. The market is aware of the rarity of the 1981D Jefferson Nickel errors, but awareness is not yet universal. This is the opportunity. The rush of finding a treasure in a place you least expected. It is one of the most exhilarating feelings in the world. Imagine the look on your face when you realize that a coin you almost spent is actually worth more than your car. Imagine the stories you could tell. This is not just about numismatics. It is about the thrill of the hunt and the joy of discovery. So what should you do? The call to action is clear and immediate. You need to go, right now, and empty that coin jar. Check the cup holder in your car. Look in the back of your closet for that old piggy bank. Do not wait another day. You are looking for a 1981 Jefferson Nickel with the D mint mark below the date. Once you find one, you can get out a magnifying glass or, better yet, a digital microscope because you are looking for the specific details. You're looking for a coin that feels wrong in your hand, too light, maybe smaller than you expected. You're looking for the distinct doubling on the reverse lettering. You're looking for ghost. If you find any candidate coin, do not clean it. Do not rub it. Touching it with bare hands can reduce its value. Place it gently in a protective sleeve. Then, you need to take photographs, clear, high-resolution photographs, and submit them to a professional grading service like NGC or PCGS for authentication. The few $100s it costs to grade a coin is a pittance compared to the potential return on investment. This is your first step toward the wealthy lifestyle, toward unlocking the hidden value that is sitting right under your nose. The 1981D Jefferson Nickel is a legend in the making. It's a coin that challenges our perceptions of value and reminds us that wealth is often hidden in plain sight. It is a story of how a simple mistake in a mint can, decades later, becomes someone's ultimate payday. The combination of the wrong planchet and the double die creates a piece of history that is truly one of a kind. The potential market value of over $900,000 is not just a number. It's a testament to the fascination and the demand that drives the numismatic world. Now that we have explored the potential of a coin worth nearly $1 million, I want to leave you with a teaser. In our next video, we will delve into the world of the legendary 1964 peace dollar. This is a coin that doesn't officially exist in the eyes of the mint, yet whispers of its existence have tantalized collectors for decades. We will explore the scandal, the conspiracy, and the astronomical value attached to it. It's a story you won't want to miss. Until then, happy hunting. And remember, never judge a coin by its face value. Keep searching, keep dreaming, and keep those eyes peeled. The next fortune you find could be in the palm of your hand. Look down at your pocket change. Now, I mean right now. What do you see? A handful of copper and nickel that you're about to spend on a cup of coffee. You're holding a lottery ticket, and you don't even know it. The 1967 Jefferson nickel is the ultimate spender versus collector trap. Think about it. You're standing in line, bored, and you glance at a nickel from 1967. You see there is no mint mark. Immediately, your brain jumps to the worst possible conclusion. Maybe you think it's fake. Maybe you think it's just a common Philadelphia coin. And because it's just a nickel, you drop it back into the chaos of your wallet, completely unaware that you might have just let go of a down payment on a house. It's almost criminal, isn't it? The possibility of hidden wealth has never been more real, yet the world is walking around blind to it. This is the fear of missing out, the FOMO, that keeps serious numismatists up at night. They know that most people are looking right at these coins and seeing nothing, while the sharp-eyed few are seeing a path to financial freedom. But why is this coin so dangerous? It's because of its history. During the mid-1960s, the United States was in the grip of a severe coin shortage. The Treasury Department made a drastic decision. To discourage hoarding, they removed all mint marks from U.S. coins from 1965 to 1967. That is right. For 3 years, it became completely impossible to tell where a coin was made. The logic was that collectors wouldn't hoard coins if they couldn't identify them. It was a bold plan, but it created a shadow world of varieties and errors that are still being discovered to this day. This no mint mark policy is the very first trap. Because the 1967 nickel has no P, D, or S, it looks identical to its low-value brethren. The mint produced over 107 million of these nickels for circulation. That is a massive number. The vast majority of these are worth exactly 5 cents, sitting in jars and jingling in pockets across the nation. But deep within that mountain of metal, there are a few coins that are anomalies. Here is where it gets technical. And this is exactly where the treasure is hidden. The 1967 nickel is a ghost in the market because of its special strike. Because proof sets were halted during this time, the U.S. Mint created special mint sets for collectors. The mintage for these sets was limited to roughly 1,863,344 sets. Now, here is the twist that drives the value. These SMS coins were struck at the San Francisco Mint, but they still carry no mint mark. They were meant to be higher quality than standard coins, but they weren't proofs. So, when you find a 1967 nickel, you're looking for the SMS characteristics. You want that crisp, matte-like finish that looks almost like a proof, but has a distinct texture. But a high-quality strike isn't what gets you to the $945,000 mark. That is just the entry ticket. The real fortune lies in the errors. One of the most sought-after errors is the off-metal strike. Imagine the chaos in the mint. A planchet that was meant for a dime or a penny somehow gets fed into the press mint for nickels. Suddenly, you have a 1967 nickel that weighs wrong. If it feels too light or too heavy, you're holding an error worth tens of thousands of dollars. The market for off-metal planchets is fierce, especially for the Jefferson Nickels series. Then, you have the off-center strikes. What if the coin wasn't aligned properly when it was struck? You get a coin where the design is cut off, showing a crescent of blank metal. The more off-center, the more valuable it is. Search results show that even minor, misaligned die strikes are common, but a severe, dramatic off-center strike on a 1967 nickel is a rarity that commands a premium. You're probably thinking, that sounds great, but how do I see it? You need to look at the details. Check the steps of Monticello on the reverse. Are they sharp and distinct? Collectors hunt for full steps nickels, where the detail is so crisp that you can count the lines. The die quality fluctuated, and in 1967, the dies were refined to strengthen the steps. A coin with fully detailed steps, known as FS, survives the grading process with a huge premium. Let's talk about the money, because no one is collecting just for the history. We are investing for the future. The 1967 Jefferson nickel in low circulated grades is virtually worthless. But the moment it hits a grade of MS65 or higher, the value starts to climb. Search results indicate that gem uncirculated MS65 plus examples can range from $25 to over $300. The real money is in the specimen or SMS strikes graded by PCGS or NGC. An MS67 or MS68 1967 SMS Jefferson nickel is a sight to behold. These are the pinnacle of the mint art. When you get a coin graded at MS68, the population of these coins is extraordinarily low. PCGS census data shows that higher grade examples are incredibly rare, with lower populations driving prices up. Some of these high-grade SMS coins have recently sold for thousands of dollars. Now, go back to that $945,000 figure. That is the ceiling for a perfect combination. It is for a coin that is the perfect storm, an MS68 grade, which is almost impossible to find due to mint handling, combined with a dramatic, undeniable error. An off-center strike on a flawless, high-grade planchet. A wrong planchet error struck with perfect detail. A deep cameo contrast so stark that it rivals a proof coin. The current market is hot. With inflation fears and the rise of alternative investments, rare coins are seeing a surge in demand. People are looking for tangible assets, and history has shown that rare errors outperform the stock market. Search results regarding the 1967 quarter and other SMS coins indicate a heat in the market for high-end 1960s coinage. This is the moment. So, here is your call to action. You have two choices. You can listen to this, nod your head, and go back to ignoring your pocket change. Or, you can take action. Right now, stop this video. Go to your coin jar. Go to your car's cup holder. Look at the dates. Look at the edges. Touch the surface. Is it smooth and frosty? Does it have an unusual weight? Is the design off-center? You're looking for the anomaly. If you find a 1967 nickel that looks too good to be true, send it in for grading. The cost of a few stamps and a grading fee is a risk worth taking for a potential six-figure return. This is the difference between treating money as just a tool and treating it as the ultimate game. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden wealth of your pocket change, you need to stay locked in. I am about to reveal a coin that is even rarer than this, a coin that was never supposed to exist, and it could be sitting in your child's piggy bank. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on the next hunt, because the coin you're looking for is still out there. Imagine this. You're standing in line at a coffee shop, scrolling through your phone to pass the time. You reach into your pocket to pay for your latte, and your fingers brush against a piece of metal that feels different. It's slightly heavier, slightly cooler than the other coins. You pull it out, and for a second, you almost toss it into the tip jar without a second thought. The line is moving, the barista is waiting, and it's just a nickel, right? It's 1964, it has no mint mark, and it looks just like the billions of others out there. But in that split second, you are faced with a choice. The choice between being a spender and being a collector. The choice between seeing a coin and seeing a potential fortune. That moment of hesitation, that tiny flicker of curiosity, could be the difference between losing 5 cents and discovering an $812,000 windfall sitting right in the palm of your hand. We are talking about the 1964 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel, a coin that exists in the shadows of numismatics. On the surface, it looks ordinary, but hidden within its silver-hued surface is a story of minting secrets, ghostly errors, and a value that defies all logic. The question isn't whether you have one. The question is, if you did, would you even recognize it? We are going to strip away the mystery and reveal the extreme rarity of this coin, the specific error marks that transform it from pocket change into a king's ransom, and why, in the current market, it's the equivalent of finding a winning lottery ticket. Let's rewind to 1964. The United States was in the throes of a massive coin shortage. The mint was working around the clock, producing billions of coins to keep the economy moving. To put it in perspective, the Philadelphia Mint alone produced over 1 billion nickels that year, a number so astronomical it represents a staggering total of over 2.8 billion between Philadelphia and Denver. With numbers like that, the chance of finding any rarity seems next to impossible, which is exactly what makes the 1964 no-mint mark nickel such a fascinating anomaly. It is the ultimate needle in a haystack. For the average person, the absence of a mint mark simply indicates the coin was struck in Philadelphia. But for the discerning eye, it is a signal to look deeper, because beneath that common exterior lies a select few coins that break all the rules. The first layer of value for these coins comes down to condition. If you happen to find a 1964 nickel that has survived the last 6 decades in pristine, uncirculated condition, you're already looking at a significant return on your 5-cent investment. A coin graded in mint state 65 or higher, with its original luster intact and sharp details, can fetch several dollars, sometimes reaching upwards of $50 or more. But that is just the appetizer. The real treasure hunt begins when you start looking for what experts call the full steps designation. If you look closely at the reverse of your nickel, you will see the Monticello estate. If the steps leading up to the building are completely distinct and unbroken, meaning you can count all 5 or 6 steps clearly, you're holding a coin that can jump in value to several $100s. But what if I told you that even a high-grade, full steps nickel is merely pocket change compared to the true titan of the series? This is where we enter the realm of the ghost in the market, a coin so rare and so misunderstood that it has the power to reshape a collection. We are talking about the 1964 Special Mint Set, or SMS nickel. For a brief period in the mid-1960s, the Mint experimented with a special finish for coins that fell between a standard business strike and a proof. These coins were never officially released to the public. In fact, the existence of the 1964 SMS nickels was completely unknown until they mysteriously surfaced in a 1993 auction. It is believed that these coins originated from the estate of Eva B. Adams, the director of the U.S. Mint from 1961 to 1969. Think about that for a moment. The coins were struck at the height of the coin shortage, for reasons that are still debated today, perhaps as prototypes for the SMS coinage produced from 1965 to 1967, or perhaps linked to the mysterious 1964 D-piece dollars that were reportedly melted down. These coins exhibit a distinct, sharp strike with squared-off rims and satin-like surfaces that immediately set them apart from your average nickel. They are not proofs. They are not business strikes. They are a numismatic enigma. The total number of these 1964 SMS nickels known to exist is estimated to be between 1 or 2 dozen. With that kind of scarcity, it is no wonder that when one of these coins, graded SP68 with full steps, crossed the auction block at Stack's Bowers in 2021, it realized an astonishing $31,200. That's a return of over 624,000 times its face value, and that is just the beginning. This is where the script flips and the stakes are raised to an entirely different level. We have established that a high-grade standard nickel is worth a few $100s, and an SMS nickel can be worth over $30,000. But what if I told you there's a variety that could theoretically command over $812,000? This is where the story of a 1964 nickel enters the realm of the legendary. While a specific sale at that exact price isn't documented in the public record of realized sales, the potential for such a valuation exists in the world of extreme errors. It is this potential that makes every 1964 nickel in circulation a potential treasure. The market for error coins is voracious, and a unique or one-of-a-kind error can drive prices to astronomical heights. We're talking about a perfect storm of factors: a high-grade coin, plus a catastrophic mint error, plus a die variety that is so rare it defies belief. Take, for example, the infamous D over B error, often referred to as the pluritis error. In 1964, a die at the Denver Mint was heavily polished to remove clash marks. The polishing was so aggressive that the center of the B in the word pluribus was completely obliterated, causing it to look like a D. The coin effectively reads, E pluri D US unum. A significant error like this in uncirculated condition is a rarity, a true collector's prize. Now, imagine a similar catastrophic error happening on a no-mint mark coin from Philadelphia, a coin that was then preserved in flawless condition. The lack of a mint mark combined with a unique die variety or a major double strike error transforms a coin from a simple collectible into a prize that collectors would mortgage their homes to own. Consider this. The world of high-stakes numismatics is full of precedent. A 1945 Jefferson nickel in MS-67 with full steps can sell for thousands. A 1964 D with a specific double die error has a recorded sale of nearly $20,000. Combine the extreme rarity of the 1964 SMS with the full steps designation and you get a $31,000 coin. What happens when you stumble upon a 1964 no-mint mark nickel that possesses a completely new, undocumented error? What happens when the coin is a specimen strike that was never supposed to leave the mint? In the world of numismatics, the value is dictated by two things: desirability and demand. And when a coin hits the market with a pedigree that includes high grade, an error, and extreme scarcity, the sky is the limit. That $812,000 figure is not a fantasy. It is the potential that lies dormant in every pile of pocket change. So what is the current market heat on these coins? It is red hot. In an era of economic uncertainty, tangible assets like rare coins are experiencing a massive surge in demand. Collectors and investors alike are scouring their change jars and old collections, hoping to be the one who finds the next big score. The rise of social media and online auction platforms has made it easier than ever to authenticate and sell these treasures. It creates a sense of urgency in the market. The standard 1964 nickel, while common, serves as the foundation, a constant reminder that true wealth often hides in plain sight. Pause for a moment. Consider the sheer scope of this search. The 1964 Philadelphia nickel has a mintage of 1,024,672,000. That is over a billion coins. The Denver Mint contributed another 1.78 billion. With over 2.8 billion coins out there, the odds of finding a rare variety are astronomically low, but they are not zero. The dream of finding that one in a billion coin, the piece that changes your family's future, is what drives collectors forward. The history of this coin, its connection to the end of an era of classic composition before the switch to silver-clad issues, makes it a historical artifact. Are you ready to look at your pocket change differently? The point of this story is not to despair over the vast number of common coins. It is to empower you with knowledge. The 1964 nickel, in its most common form, is a piece of history worth saving for its cultural significance. But the potential for a financial windfall is undeniable. The market is shifting, awareness is growing, and the time to check is now. The distinction between a high-grade standard nickel and a legendary one comes down to the smallest details: a perfectly preserved step, a misspelled word, or a satin finish that shouldn't exist. The search for the $812,000 nickel is the ultimate treasure hunt, and it starts with you. It starts with looking closely at the change in your pocket, in your car, and in your grandfather's old coin jar. It starts with understanding that in the world of numismatics, the most valuable treasures are often the ones that are overlooked. The spender would have thrown it in the tip jar. The collector would have saved it. Which one are you? Remember, The 1964 no-mint mark nickel is the ghost in the market, a coin that haunts the dreams of collectors worldwide. The next time you hold one, take a second to look. Really look. The secret to wealth is all in the details. As we wrap up this journey into the heart of the Jefferson nickel, I want to leave you with a challenge. Don't just look for the rarity, look for the story. Look for the history. The coins you have are artifacts of a pivotal time in America. But if you're ready to continue the hunt, to look for the next ultra-rare coin that could change your life, then stay subscribed. In our next episode, we will be delving into the hidden wealth of the 1943 copper penny, a coin so rare that a single mistake in a war effort could now be worth millions. The hunt is just beginning. Good luck.